So I've got a but basically, these attacks have been absolutely destroying Americans' health all over the world. It is actually out of control now, and it hasn't stopped. Okay, from the Russians in the 70s to basically Cubans in what would you call that? The teens, not 20s. Yeah, I guess 20 teens. That sounds a bit weird. But basically, all the way up to 2020, reports would come out then that Canadian officials were actually silenced after also experiencing similar attacks.
You don't hold.
Ooh, new clip.
Delay.
For Canadian diplomats, the sun, culture, and political intrigue of Havana, Cuba was a dream posting. But in 2017, that all changed when 5 embassy staff and their families suddenly developed medical issues that would become known as the Havana syndrome. One staffer currently involved in a $28 million lawsuit against the federal government and who was given the pseudonym Diplomat Allen by the courts says he was awoken by a mysterious sound in the middle of the night.
A screeching, metallic scraping noise that just flooded the room. And I listened to it for about 20 or 30 seconds. And then as it was fading, it went woo, 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 woo.
He says he was overcome with nausea. And at the same time, his eldest son's nose started gushing blood. When he reported what happened, weeks before, he says a Miami neurologist diagnosed he, his wife, and 2 sons with mild traumatic brain injuries. He says he was told to stay quiet.
The one thing the ambassador told me that at that time was that do not tell any other Canadians. We cannot start mass hysteria.
Global News has obtained over 700 pages of heavily redacted documents related to the case that appear to corroborate plaintiff claims that officials were more interested in keeping the story quiet than finding the cause. In multiple documents, officials refer to attacks, but after it was reported that 40 U.S. embassy personnel had the same symptoms, officials decided to stop using the word. The cause of the debilitating sound is still a mystery. One expert believes it was the mating call of the Indie short-tailed cricket. And when
So they're trying to say that it's the sound mating call of a cricket. They want to cover it up. They don't want anyone to know that their people are being attacked like this because they can't do anything about it, and it would cause a mass hysteria. But it's wrong. It's wrong for them to cover this up because they're not letting the victims of these horrible attacks actually, get the help or the support or the action that they actually need. It's a huge scandal. So jumping forward to March of 2023, that's when the intelligence community had basically concluded that it's very unlikely that this attack was from an enemy. But again, this leads to more calls of a cover-up. They don't want to admit that they're being attacked.
The top line is exactly what you just said, that the members of the intelligence community participating in this found it, quote, very unlikely a foreign adversary was responsible, very unlikely a weapon or any device purposely or accidentally caused the symptoms, and there's not even a consistent set of physical injuries that could be characterized as Havana syndrome. Now, there are varying levels of confidence, and not the entire intelligence community participating in this, but for the IC, this is as emphatic a conclusion as it makes. On serious conditions that we're talking about that Americans suffered in Cuba, in China, Americans who worked on Russia, even the U.S. officials who suffered this here in the United States. But one official told us today we cannot tie a foreign adversary to any of those incidents.
So what evidence does the intelligence community provide to back that up?
The intelligence briefers who talked to me and about a dozen reporters today, one official said intelligence points against foreign involvement. And this official said that adversaries, including China and Russia, expressed some confusion when the U.S. started reporting Havana.
Boy, that shit sounds serious, boy. Havana syndrome, they're talking about a microwave weapon, a silent killer, and fuck your ass up for life, slowly. Boy, they created a die slow weapon. And they call that shit Havana syndrome when they hit you. Damn. Dun, dun, dun. Mortal Kombat 2. Bitch, that shit look like it's gonna be one of my favorite movies.
If you're a producer who hates AI, this plugin might change your mind. This is Reimagining Co-Producer. You can take any sample you find and flip it into infinite one-of-a-kind variations.
You want to know what makes a hero? It's not destiny. It's not something you're born with. It's searching for greatness.
Johnny Cage, you have been chosen for Mortal Kombat.
Then realizing you had it in you this entire time.
Johnny Cage.
Whoa!
Katana.
I really don't feel comfortable hitting a girl.
Don't worry.
You won't. No, send me back. I want to go back.
The rules of the tournament are simple.
Katana got on his
by the size
ass.
of our armies. It would be decided by combat.
That shit a little
I'm a
hard.
great warrior. I'm not some
I feel like this is how the Mortal Kombat. This is how Mortal Kombat movie should look, boy. If you ever seen that old ass Mortal Kombat, boy, this right here, though, nigga, this, boy, that shit. I like that shit. Hold on, let me see.
The rules of the tournament are simple. Our fates would not be settled by the size of our armies. It would be
May 8th.
decided by combat.
I'm not some great warrior. I'm not some champion.
This is a war for the fate of your world.
Me.
Earth belongs to me.
We do not kneel!
Our only chance is to face this together.
Let's go, baby.
You, Johnny Cage, are a part of this now. It's showtime. Get over here! Johnny will definitely die.
You're supposed
Uno
to
mas,
die.
thanks.
That's
You're Johnny
Baraka.
Cage. I loved Citizen Cage when I was a kid.
Thanks, man. I
Oh,
appreciate it.
Baraka. He
They
was
should do a
definitely
reboot.
supposed to die.
Nobody wants that. Shit went out in the 90s.
Johnny Cage, you have been chosen to fight.
Tell me you're not some crazy fans. How are you doing that?
Are you coming or what?
How are you doing
Where
that?
the hell am I?
It's called Mortal Kombat. It's a fighting tournament. To the death.
Fuck that.
Fuck that.
This is a war for the fate of your world.
You think I did or what?
I'm not some champion.
I don't have transformer arms. Or shoot lightning bolts.
This shit's got nothing to do with me. I'm an actor.
I find you annoying.
Not the face.
It's time to become the hero you were meant to be. All right, you big ugly fuck. It's showtime.
Get over here!
Only strong survive.
Are you shitting me? You don't have any powers?
Just incredibly handsome.
Ever say you shitting me? You don't have any powers? No, he doesn't. He doesn't have any powers, sir. No. He don't know how to do shit but that split and nut punch. That's the bitch ass, that's the hoest move on Mortal Kombat. That nigga do a split nut punch. That nigga do a split nut punch, man. I don't even think none of the girls got that move, man. That song. The song you got some other shit. That shit funny. That boy Johnny Cage got a split nut punch. That's all he got. Man, the Avenger Doomsday. Oh shit. He playing a nigga that he playing T'Challa, the new son of T'Challa or something. This Avenger, this ain't Black Panther, but he in the Black Panther shit. You're not a real street nigga. Boosie and Kodak. Black beef just got 10,000% worse. Man, they beefing. Man, the niggas ain't beefing. Niggas beefing. Man, they ain't beefing.
I wonder how all them Zoes feel, dog. I know them Zoes up right now. I know it's state of Florida up right now. No morals, don't got no principle. Damn, I believe it like that. Ain't no street at all. Hurt me with that one. Yeah.
Real pain hits different than anger. And anybody with ears could hear that in Boosie's voice right there. This the man who built his whole reputation on never sugarcoating nothing, never filtering himself for nobody. So when somebody like that sounds wounded instead of fired up, you know, something genuine went wrong. We're talking about a level of disappointment that only comes from having real respect for somebody first. And then out of nowhere, while all of that was still fresh and unresolved, Kodak Black decided to come through on the live stream himself. No heads up, no buffer, just jump straight in. The internet generally did not know what to do with that moment.
Man, Kodak, I'm a real man. I'm on live, man. Man, I'm on live, bro. I'm a comedian.
Boosie speaking straight facts. And only if you agree with him, subscribe, because we need only real people around here. Before we even get to what went down between these two, understand that this situation is way bigger than a simple rap beat. Loyalty, morality, what the code actually means when real money enters the room. That's what's really on trial here. By the time everything plays out, it'll make complete sense why Boosie wasn't able to just brush this off and move forward. And it'll explain why the moment Kodak Black stepped onto that live stream became one of the most unfiltered, unplanned exchanges hip-hop has witnessed in a long time. But first, some necessary background, because none of this lands properly without knowing who these two men actually are. Boosie, born Torrance Hedge, comes from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Man, we know who they is. We ain't finna go through that. We know who the fuck they is.
Somebody reacting to a hit like a threat. The video shoot. That alone was enough to detonate the entire internet. For anyone not fully caught up on the Tekashi 6ix9ine situation, it's charged breaking down. He even joked about wanting to fund the people responsible. So Boosie wasn't out here pretending to be stunned that Tekashi 6699 was still moving like Tekashi 6ix9ine. He addressed it plainly on social media, said he had nothing to offer on the subject, that a snitch was going to snitch and a rat was going to rat. That behavior was already accounted for. What completely caught Boosie off guard was Kodak, a man who had built himself up as someone deeply rooted in the streets, someone whose whole origin story came from a place where that code wasn't decorative.
Niggas ain't beef.
Listen to Lil Durk's reaction when his daughter asked him if he was in protective custody while in jail.
Hey guys, so I'm waiting on my dad to call. I'm about to do that prank on him and say he's from the PC unit. Just actually about to tell you something too. I was waiting for you to call.
What's going on?
So there's this new drama in school, right?
Yeah.
And so like she was like, oh yeah, my dad's in jail too or whatever. So like we started becoming friends, right?
She said her daddy what?
He's in jail too, right?
Yeah.
So I said, what like cell or like I don't know, like something you were in, right?
Yeah.
And I said like the PC unit.
Oh yeah, ain't no PC, brother. Not no PC.
I thought you were.
So PC is protective custody. That's when you scared to be on the floor with regular people. Yeah, I ain't no PC girl.
No, I was joking. It was a joke.
Oh, I was like, what?
Listen to Lil Durk's reaction when his daughter asked him if he was in
He just
protective
gave, he just
custody
told
while
her,
in
like,
jail.
girl,
Hey
this
guys,
is what PC
so
is.
I'm waiting on my dad to call. I'm about to do that prank on him and say he's from the PC unit.
Girl, I ain't no damn PC. Like, girl. That boy the PC boy. Everybody know it. Everybody know it, boy. What? That should be break. That nigga to break that bitch like a breaking news story. That shit. Yeah, man. Free that boy, man. Free the real niggas. All right. What's next, man? It's been a long day, man. Good Monday. You know what I'm saying? Good productivity. Do it capital and create a positive impact today and later, man. Whatever you do, throughout all this negative ass fuck shit that's going on and in your algorithm and on the internet and keeping us entertained. I'm saying, take care of your motherfucking people. Talking about, oh shit, man. It was something else I was finna react to. It done hit 111 quick. 111. 111. What NFL players revealed, man? What?
I ain't gonna lie, man. The video's going viral. We might as well talk about it. Hey, yo, listen, this new video going out. Let Bebe get his cheeks kind of, you know what I mean, massaged and, you know what I mean, cupped in the club. I don't know what's going on. Apparently, this is not a new footage. And he runs off jolly to the back. You know what I mean? Like, let me tell you, side chick, like, yo, I'm about to fuck you, and I'm about to fuck you later. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I bet, like, you ever tell some freaky shit and she skip off, she's skipping. Let Bebe right there, bro. I don't know what's going on. This is probably cat. Is homie grabbing his ass or like, nah? Let me see. Nah, this is how you hold your man in the club. Yeah, you got to kind of hold his buttocks. Like, what you mean? You got to make sure he don't fall back. Like, from what I heard, it was a steep ledge to the DJ booth. You got to kind of grip the cheek that he don't fall back. You know what I mean? Sometimes gravity might bring the nigga back. Right? Let me see. Right? Yeah. Okay. That's a decent grip. I can't hold you. Okay. I bet. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I think niggas is tripping. This is not too crazy. The runoff was a little bit sus, but so what? Little baby got his cheeks gripped. What the fuck? That niggas watch that nigga literally get basically almost like a picture train ran on him with the reverse double stuffed Oreo. Nah, it's so cool. Little baby, I'm defending you on that, man. I don't think that was wild. You've done crazier shit. I stand by that, baby. Right?
That's
all good.
All
good.
that
We're
shit.
kind of rocking through everything here. Oh, we got to talk about Rihanna shit. We'll talk about it in a second. Oh, we're just kind of working our way down here. What's I got to say? Yo, chat, y'all can't wild out on Lil Baby. Y'all like y'all favorite rappers getting their butt cheeks, like, you know, kind of cuffed. Like, stop it, bro. Like, y'all not gonna like act like Lil Baby doing something.
That's wild as fuck, yo. What kind of shit is going on? I mean, but what you expect from a nigga that get leg tattoos to show him off like that on stage? Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh man. Hey. Oh. Oh shit. Oh man, this shit crazy. Oh shit, man. What the fuck, man? Shit, I'm trying to control it. Oh man, what the fuck? All right, man. I think I'm finna what was I finna do? I was finna get on 2K, man. India Love is playing a bit. Johnny Cage versus Scorpion. Yeah, this the original shit right here. I wonder if they gonna have a scene just like this in the new movie. Hell no, they ain't gonna have no shit like this. You see that shit? Imagine that shit right there. That shit'll look even more stupid. That shit'll look exclusive. And you can tell that shit ain't shit right there. But now, how that shit look, now that shit should look exclusive. Destination Smokehouse was empty. Of course that bitch empty. All right, man. Shit, I've been through. But I tried to tell, I ain't finna get into that. All right, man. I think we just gonna wrap this up. New Iranian leader reportedly wounded in an airstrike. The new one? The nigga that new one that just took over like 2 or 3 weeks ago? The new one? At least he ain't dead. They say he just wounded. He ain't died though. Well, they trying to fuck them. They fucking them folks up. The new one? That nigga trying to get another leader.
In
like,
flames,
man, I dropped 2
and
of
it
y'all
is not looking
leaders.
like there's an end in sight. Okay, because
folks,
apocalyptic footage
he
has been going
boy.
around in Iran after Israel directly targeted the country's oil facilities. This is a Tehran oil depot in flames after Israel came in and basically pushed that shit. Never seen anything like it. It looks like pure hellfire.
That
Again,
shit,
the crusade they asked for,
that
basically.
shit look like a fucking movie scene from Hellboy or some shit. That shit like
so these
a
are
movie,
drains.
a movie
oil
set
burning
from
ran into storm drains.
Spawn,
All the storm
bitch.
drains in Tehran are on fire.
Man, that
so
shit look
that
like
is
Spawn, man. You ever seen that movie Spawn, bitch? The old movie Spawn? Bitches don't even know about that shit. That shit so old. That shit ain't. I know these niggas don't know shit about Spawn. That shit look like Spawn, bitch. That shit look like hell, boy. That shit is, boy. I could pull it up, but they be doing
so that's what we're
that
dealing with. All that
bullshit,
oil that you wanted to put into your car to get where you're going is in flames. So it's going to cost you a lot more to get the oil that's left over. That's as simple as it gets, okay? So another clip would show the massive scale of the destruction caused by these strikes. The state of it. This is them blowing up. This is those storm drains blowing up and bursting into flames. It is like something out of the
The whole ground busted, boy.
So the way it all blows up one after the other. You see it again in a minute. Look, fire coming out the drains. Never thought it was possible. But it is. It's bad. This is bad.
All that gas, boy.
Look at it, blah, 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 blah. It's insane. It's terrifying, okay? Now, there will be a lot of news reporting on these devastating strikes, and Israel are really unleashing that holy hellfire onto Iran, okay? The US are apparently dismayed by these fuel strikes, okay? Look at the smoke coming out over these depot tanks, all right? They've cooled down a little bit, but it is just nothing but destruction. So let me pull up the full article for you guys here, because they don't like you getting information over here. They really don't like you getting your information at all, right? If they can help it. But anyway, I've got it here back up. So it says, Israel strikes on 30 Iranian fuel depots Saturday went far beyond what the US expected when Israel notified it in advance, sparking the first significant disagreement between the allies since the war began 8 days ago, according to a US official, Israeli official, and a source with knowledge. Why does this matter? Well, the US is concerned that Israeli strikes on infrastructure that serves ordinary Iranians could backfire strategically, rallying Iranian society to support the regime and driving up oil prices. Driving the news, Israel's Air Force on Saturday striked and created large fires in Tehran, igniting flames visible for miles and blanketing the capital in heavy smoke. The IDF would claim in a statement that the fuel depots are used by the Iranian regime to supply fuel to different consumers, including its military organs. Now, when it says different consumers, that means your average Iranian as well as the military. Now, that is going to be a problem. An Israeli military official said the strikes were intended in part to tell Iran to stop targeting Israeli civilian infrastructure. I don't think Iran are going to do anything that you want them to do at this stage. You've absolutely smacked them in the face. And now they're crashing out. It's as simple as that. Now, it says behind the scenes, Israeli and US officials said the IDF notified the US military ahead of the strikes, but US officials said the US military was surprised at how far and wide-ranging these strikes were. It says, we don't think it was a good idea, a senior US official said. An Israeli official said the US sent a message to Israel saying, what the F? And the White House and the IDF didn't comment on it. So apparently the big picture is that while the facilities that were struck were not oil production facilities, US officials are concerned that the footage of burning depots could spook oil markets and push energy prices even higher. And they're already spiking like crazy. The president doesn't like the attack. He wants to save the oil. He wants that oil. He doesn't want to burn it. And it reminds people of higher gas prices, a Trump advisor told Axios. But the other side of it, the spokesman for Iran's Qatar al-Anbiya headquarters, which oversees the military operations, warned Saturday that if attacks on Iran's oil infrastructure continued, then Tehran may respond with similar strikes across the region. And I don't know how much Israel have oil in reserves, but it could be a disaster for them too. He added that Iran so far hasn't targeted regional fuel and energy infrastructure and threatened that if Iran does, oil prices will be hitting $200 a barrel. Your fuel prices are doubling. Iran's parliament speaker Mohammed Bagher Ghalibaf, one of the most senior officials in the regime, warned that if attacks on infrastructure continue, Iran will retaliate without delay. So what's next? A US official says the disagreement and what the US expects in the war is expected to be addressed at a senior political levels between the two allies. They're going to have some words. And not only is the war on destroying the oil escalating, but also the propaganda war is increasing. Now, we've seen Donald Trump and the White House posting these Call of Duty inspired videos of oil depots being, or of targets being struck in Iran. But now Iran are clapping back too. They dropped a Lego style animation about the Epstein regime's war. Now, the Epstein regime is pretty hilarious, but you know, you can make up your own minds about that. But this is the type of thing they're putting out. They're basically saying Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu are in business with the devil himself, Satan. All right. And that this is all some satanic shit. Oh.
They motherfucking making Lego animations the way they want shit to happen and shit, but that's where they fucked up at. That's where you fuck up at.
So they're basically saying that, look, they've been martyred, their children have been martyred, and they are basically getting their get back. And they're basically boasting about all the terror attacks that they've done in the Middle East, from Dubai, Qatar, Bahrain, all of this stuff that's been going on. They're basically lashing out. Even Cyprus, the UK military base was blown up there too. All right, people saying it's cinema. A lot of these people are kind of supporting what what Iran are doing with their propaganda campaign, and a lot of people, at the end of the day, even if you're patriotic, you can sort of explain to people why you don't think these strikes were such a good thing. And now they're basically dealing with a very radicalized population that would like anything more than to get back for what was done to them. Now, there's also unconfirmed speculation that Israel actually planted a spy on one of Iran's highest positions. So they're still integrating.
Is this Iranian general incredibly lucky, or is he an Israeli spy? For the past year and a half, Ismail Khani seems to have miraculously escaped death while everyone around him has been killed. As head of the Quds Force, the Revolutionary Guard unit responsible for external operations, his survival of Israeli-American action has fueled suspicion. In October 2024, he was reported dead after a drone strike in Lebanon, where he was meeting with Hezbollah officials. But a few days later, to everyone's surprise, he reappeared at the funeral of a senior military official. In June 2025, Ismail Khani was again reported killed among several Iranian dignitaries. But once again, he returned from the dead when he appeared all smiles at a pro-regime demonstration. This was enough to fuel speculation on social media. Israeli internet users put up posts to ironically thank the man they described as an agent working for Israel. The latest events have added to the confusion. The attack on February 28th killed most of Iran's military high command. But what about Ismail Khani?
Some sources claim that he did not attend the meeting. Others say that he left the premises a few minutes before the first bombings. In any case, there is no news of him.
A Among the Israeli army's targets, only 2 officials are still believed to be alive, including Ismail Kani. Mossad is known to recruit at the highest levels among its adversaries. Could the Iranian general be one of them? The Israeli Secret Service denied this in a message on X. Kani is not our spy. But Mossad would not have said anything different if Kani were one of its own, keeping the speculation alive.
Yeah, he's in big trouble, basically, because even if that's not true, if they're thinking that he's king backdoor over there, they're going to be gunning for him. Now, after basically the leader of Iran and basically everybody who was in line to take up the throne after him was all obliterated and blown to smithereens in an airstrike, they've been keeping it pretty under wraps who's going to take over the leadership. But now, in a dramatic act of nepotism and also just not really thinking outside the box, they have announced the search far and wide. We're going to put the new person in charge. It's going to be the supreme leader's own son.
This is the moment Mujtaba Khamenei, the 56-year-old son of Iran's late supreme leader, is announced as the country's new leader. Supporters say they see his father in him. In a widely circulated message by several state-aligned outlets, a slogan read, "God revealed his hand and Khamenei just got younger," portraying Mujtaba's rise as a continuation of his father's rule. In 1979, Iran's Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi was overthrown by Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. Mujtaba's father, Ali Khamenei, a close ally of Khomeini, quickly rose within the new political order and would later have shaped the future of the Islamic Republic. Mujtaba came of age during revolution and war. At just 17, he went to the front lines during the Iran-Iraq War, while his father served as Iran's president. The troops he fought with would later form what became the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, now Iran's most powerful military institution. That relationship would prove decisive decades later. Many say the Guard's loyalty was an important factor in Mujtaba's elevation as Iran's third supreme leader. Mujtaba Khamenei has long been seen as an influential figure behind the scenes, playing a role in the appointment of senior officials and shaping Iran's security institutions through his father's office. In the days leading up to his selection, US President Donald Trump warned that Mujtaba's rise would be unacceptable to Washington. But many in Iran's political and military establishment saw those remarks as interference, further strengthening support for his appointment. Mujtaba's father, mother, sister, wife, son, and several other relatives were recently killed in strikes by US and Israeli forces. Many believe these laws could shape his outlook and possibly push Iran toward a more confrontational path. But some analysts argue the opposite may happen. Under heavy pressure from war and international isolation, they say the Iranian regime now faces 2 difficult choices: collapse or transform. Because Mujtaba carries the legacy of his father and the revolutionary establishment, they argue he may have the legitimacy to push difficult reforms through without being accused of betraying the revolution. But time may not be on his side. Israeli officials have repeatedly threatened to target any successors to Iran's assassinated supreme leader. But the challenges go beyond external threats. Many in Iran see Mujtaba's appointment as dynastic, arguing that the revolution which toppled the monarchy has now produced another.
Now, that's a really good point, all right? The whole point of their revolution to topple a monarchy and basically take control back of their country, it doesn't really look too strong when they're saying the leadership has got dynastic, it's become a dynasty. Now his son's taken over. They're saying, supreme leader just got younger. It's like, hang on a minute. This is a monarchy. You're going to put the guy's son in. Now, I know that we've had father-son. We've had George Bush twice in America. Okay, it's ridiculous. But you're just going to drop in, no election, you know what I'm saying? They just made a behind closed doors decision. We're going to put his son in position. I don't personally think that that's a great look. But anyway, that's how they want to run it.
At a time of war, sanctions, and societal polarization, the system's survival may depend on bridging the gap between the state and the people. Under Iran's constitution, Mujtaba Khamenei is both the country's highest political authority and the supreme religious leader for millions of Shias in Iran and beyond. His father assumed power just months after the end of the devastating war with Iraq in the late 1980s. Mujtaba Khamenei takes office during a far more dangerous moment. Whether he can unite the country and the war and reopen Iran to the world or lead it into deeper confrontation and isolation will define the future of the Islamic Republic.
So we're going to see how his son takes over. We're going to see how he runs things. Now, immediately following the announcement of who was taking over, reports would suggest that the new supreme leader was immediately injured in a targeted strike. So they tried to kill him immediately.
Thank you very much for watching. There is some potential breaking news, which we are trying to verify through other reports here, that apparently the brand new leader of Iran may well have been injured in a attack. Now, let me just read directly here. There are international sources we're double-checking here. The Daily Telegraph is reporting as we speak on their website that Iran's newly appointed supreme leader has been injured in strikes, according to Iranian state media. That he apparently had been wounded in what they're referring to as the Ramadan War. He's described as an injured war veteran right now. Israeli security officials believe that he was wounded but still alive after targeting in an airstrike. This is according to the reporting that is on the Times of Israel.
So grand opening, grand closing, right? He couldn't even do his job for a day or so without getting blown to smithereens. And he apparently survived but was injured. But look, all right, whether or not you believe the justifications for this war, you got to admit, Iran are down so many points right now. It's actually embarrassing. You've appointed a new leader, he immediately gets blown up and injured in an airstrike. Like, you guys are not playing good defense right now. And I don't want to get into, whether or not it was right for the Americans to do this or the Israelis to do this, but now we're in it, all right? And they're standing on business. And really, we're just waiting to see what happened to this revolution that's supposed to be happening in Iran. Those people that were trying to rise up against the government a few months ago, yeah, they killed like 60,000 of those protesters. Is there even enough support for a revolution in Iran for this to actually happen? Trump and Netanyahu, they've urged people to take to the streets and take back their country. Well, unfortunately, killing their leaders back to back and destroying their oil fields has possibly cultivated an aura of, you know what, F America, let's just get behind our supreme leader, even if he keeps being blown to smithereens. But back to the original topic of this whole video. As the war is escalating, global oil prices have taken a hit already. The price of gas is already going up. The price of oil is going up. Oil futures, speculation on the future price of oil is out of control. And everything's going to get more expensive as a result. Everything.
Oil prices soaring. West Texas crude now hovering around $100 a barrel. You can see this chart over time. The last time it was this high was when Russia invaded Ukraine, and that height was at June of 2022. But I want you to look at the very end of this chart, an almost vertical increase over the last 2 weeks, an incredibly quick rise over a very short period of time. It could get even higher, experts say, by the end of March, maybe even $150 a barrel if travel through the Strait of Hormuz does not start flowing again. That flow of oil through that critical waterway has effectively ground to a halt. It's only a 20-mile stretch of sea between Iran and Oman, and actually only a 2-mile wide sea lane. The president shrugged off the rise in oil prices, calling it a very small price to pay for say and world safety and peace.
But look, as you can hear, right, that we're going to see serious rises in oil prices, fuel prices, gas, all of that stuff. You know, they're killing every next leader. But a lot of people have been asking, look, what is the end game here? Like, what is Trump's or Netanyahu's actual end game? They thought they could just kill the leader and it would just solve all the problems, but it doesn't seem like it solved the problems. It's caused a whole bunch more problems, and it's really emboldened the whole administration and population in Iran to just basically want to just go straight death to America. Okay, and that is very sad. That's very dark. I love America. I don't love everything America does at all times. I definitely don't love what Iran have got going on with the nuclear program and, you know, the beef that they've got with Israel, and they're backing terrorist fighters in different regions around the world to mess with America. We can't put up with that. But at the same time, what's the solution here? I don't know. Okay. And if I hear anything new, I will keep you guys updated, but I'm definitely very scared that this is getting out of hand. And I do wonder if anybody has a game plan for how to get through this. And as I covered recently, they might be drafting people soon in this holy war. They're saying it's Armageddon. They're bringing about Armageddon times. Not what any of us signed up for, people. I don't know how on earth it has got to this point, but I'm not loving it. So let me know what you thought of that update, man. I will let you guys know if I hear anything else. But for now, let's just all hunker down in the bunker and hope this doesn't get more out of hand. Thanks for watching, and I'm out.
Meet Carla, the always feeding everyone abuelita. You said just a bite. She serves a feast. Friends, neighbors, even the mailman gets fed. Good thing she shops and saves at Winn-Dixie.
What is it? Youth choir? I got this. White people clapping all on beat.
I can imagine.
T.I. explained himself. They only responding because, hit dogs holler. Now, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. T.I., T.I.'s son, they supposed to think that that's beauty, but I think deep down inside, T.I., he know what it is. T.I. explained himself. They only responding because, hit dogs holler. Now, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. T.I., T.I.'s son, they supposed to think that that's beauty, but I think deep down inside, T.I., he know what it is. T.I. explained himself. They only responding because, hit dogs holler. Now, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. T.I., T.I.'s son, they supposed to think that that's beauty, but I think
So Trump is getting a lot of financial and political support from the Saudis and Israelis. Also remember that if this war goes sideways and Trump is forced to use ground troops, he will probably get approval from Congress, and this will give him emergency war powers, which will allow him to influence the midterms. Wow. So Trump is thinking about a third term. And I think
oh my God, fuck!
So Trump is getting a lot of financial and political support from the Saudis and Israelis. Also remember that if this war goes sideways and Trump is forced to use ground troops, he will probably get approval from Congress, and this will give him emergency war powers, which will allow him to influence the midterms. Wow. So Trump is thinking about a third term. And I think
oh my God, fuck!
Professor Zhang predicts U.S. will lose Iran war. Oh, man. Video by Breaking Points. So we're going to check out this video here by Breaking Points. They're going to bring on Professor Zhang, who's a very popular YouTuber, graduated from Harvard. He's a Chinese professor who specializes in geopolitics, and that we would sit out and see what.
Ask current. So, for people who aren't familiar with your work, I wanted to show folks that back in 2024, you made three big predictions. One, that Trump would win. Two, that he would start a war with Iran. And three, that the U.S. would lose that.
You know, bro, feeling himself, bro. You know he's feeling himself. He's like, yeah, I'm him. I'm really him. I saw all this shit coming. I called it.
Let's take a listen to that.
In this class this semester, I'm making three big predictions, right? First is that Trump will win in November. Second is that the United States will go to war against Iran.
Crazy.
And the third big prediction is that the United States will lose this war, which will forever change the global order.
So obviously that last one is the only one who has
bro, got to give me the lottery numbers.
Has not yet come to fruition. Is quite a stunning prediction. Do you stand by it? And what have you seen so far that leads you to sort of stand firm in that conclusion?
So given my analysis of how the war is progressing, I think that Iran has many more advantages over the United States. The reality is that right now, it's a war of attrition between the United States and Iran. And Iranians have been preparing 20 years for this conflict. In their eschatology, in their religion, this is a war against the great Satan. They've had many practice runs. Last June was a 12-day war when the Iranians were able to examine and analyze the strike capacity.
Bro, you know they're never going to stop. They're fighting for God, nigga. They're fighting for God. They believe that they're doing Allah's work. You can't beat that, bro. You can't beat that. What, you think we fighting for Jesus? Americans don't want to be in this war, man. American soldiers don't want to fight this shit, bro. They do not want to go to war for this bullshit, bro. Not for Israel. You know what I'm saying? You got a deflated military. The American public does not want America to get involved in this shit. And then your enemy are dudes who are fighting for God? Nigga, you're gonna lose.
Of both Israelis and Americans. And they've had a lot of time, 8 months, to prepare fully for this new attack.
Damn, boy, the way he said, the way he wrote that down,
the Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Shia militias have been able to really grasp the American mentality, and now they have a pretty good strategy of how to weaken and ultimately destroy the American empire. So what the Iranians are doing is they're waging war against the entire global economy, and so they're striking the GCC countries. And not only are they striking GCC countries, American bases, they're going after the critical energy infrastructure of these bases. They block out the Strait of Hormuz, and eventually they will go after the water desalination plants, which is the lifeblood of these nations because they don't have fresh water supply. In fact, the water desalination plants provides 60% of the GCC's water supply. So if a drone, and these drones cost $50,000, if they wiped out a desalination plant in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and it's a city of 10 million people, right? They'd be out of water in 2 weeks.
God damn it.
In 2 weeks. And right now, the Iranians have de facto closed off the Strait of Hormuz, and the GCC gets 90% of its food from the Strait of Hormuz. So I know a lot of people are talking about the disruptions to the global economy,
right?
But right now, the Iranians are actually threatening the very existence of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, essentially, Iran is saying to all of these. So let's pull this shit up on the map so y'all can look at this shit because this shit is fucking crazy, bro. Yeah, first and foremost, look how big Iran is, bro. Just in case you don't really get it. All right, so we got Iran right here. Here's Tehran, which is the capital of Iran, right? Here's Israel over here. Now, this is the Strait of Hormuz right here. This little region where you got the fucking water coming through the Gulf and going into the Arabian Sea. Well, that's essentially how all of these Middle Eastern countries that ship out oil, this is how they get the oil out. You feel me? Through right here. And so the Strait of Hormuz, I think, is just in regards to this little section right here. And as you can see, it's small, right? And it's right on the coast of Iran. And so essentially, Iran's saying, nigga, we will fucking cut this shit off, nigga. Ain't nothing getting in, nothing getting out. Now, that's a big problem in regards to the global oil supply. because the Middle East supplies, I think, like a third of the world's oil, right? Like a lot of oil comes out of Iran. China is a huge consumer of Middle Eastern oil, right? They consume, I think, like 80% of the oil that Iran ships out goes to China. But anyway, right? So what essentially Iran is doing, though, is saying, like, look, one, it's attacking all of the U.S. like military outposts in these other Middle Eastern countries like Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, which is where Dubai is, right? And so Iran is like, fuck nigga, like anywhere, not Iraq, anywhere the U.S. bases are located, U.S. embassies, U.S. military outposts that have been set up to surround Iran, Iran's like attacking all of them. And so if you've seen any posts online about how Iran is like going to war with all these other countries, that's like kind of misrepresenting what's going on. It's not like Iran is just like, oh, fuck all of you guys, I'm just going to war with all of you. No, it's more like Iran is just trying to target all those places where there are American military outposts, right? Because wherever there are American military outposts, you also have the CIA, right? And these are strategic places for America to, you know, strategize against and attack Iran. So Iran is attacking all of them. It's also sending a message to these countries, basically saying y'all are a bunch of fuck niggas because, you know what I'm saying, you're teaming up with these dudes, America, and you know what I'm saying, you see, look how they're holding y'all. Look how they ain't coming to your rescue, right? We fucking dropping mad bombs on your shit. Where's America? They ain't even here. So this is what you get for fucking with these Americans, you fuck niggas. That's essentially what Iran is saying. I'm not saying that. That's what Iran is saying. And so, so on top of the fact that they're like bombing these American outposts in these other Middle Eastern countries, which is essentially they're trying to get American troops to get on the ground, bro. Essentially, Iran is like a jiu-jitsu master, and America is like a striking master. We're talking MMA, right? So essentially, Iran wants to play the ground game. Iran wants American troops on the ground. Why? Because America cannot beat Iran if they go to Iran, bro. Iran is like all mountains. And that's not the kind of military we have. America has like invested all of its like assets into technology. So America is really good at like bombing niggas. You feel me? America is really good at technological warfare. But America has gone away from this whole like, you know, putting niggas on the ground with guns and like, let's go fight. Like America ain't trying to do all of that. You know what I'm saying? And so Iran is like, we want you niggas here, but how they have to bait America in. And they're trying to do that through multiple ways. Israel also wants America to get boots on the ground. I'm gonna let Dr. Zhang explain that because he can explain it a little better than I can relate to you. But fucking Israel also wants American boots on the ground, by the way. Anyway, right? So Iran is trying to do that two ways. One, they're bombing these other countries, right, that have American military outposts, which will then get these countries to hit up America and say, y'all niggas need to come and do something about this, bro. But also, as Professor Zhang just explained, by strangling the Strait of Hormuz, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but by strangling this, I mean, nigga, you get it. Niggas need to get out of here, bro. If they block this shit off, and then essentially, you know, prevent them from getting food, shit like that, like is going to be a big problem. And so all of these countries are going to turn to America and say, y'all niggas need to come and do something about this. And the reason why they're going to need boots on the ground is because they are not going to be able to completely facilitate regime change or dismantle all of Iran's ballistic missiles by just dropping bombs on them. A lot of their bombs are underground. The country, the regime is organized through various people that are probably, you know, very widely dispersed. Like the only way they're going to really be able to overthrow the Iranian government is by invading Iran, bro. And so, but again, at that point, Iran's just going to fucking take him to the ground, fucking put him in a rear naked and just put him to sleep every time. It's Iran. It's why we lost the Vietnam War, right? Like these niggas, they're fighting for a different reason, bro. And there's a lot of them. You know what I'm saying?
Iran, Qatar. But right now, the Iranians are actually threatening the very existence of Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Qatar. And what this is important is that the Gulf states are really the linchpin of the American economy. So what they do is they sell petrodollars and then they recycle the petrodollars back into the American economy through the investments in the stock market. And right now, we know that the entire American economy is propped up by AI investments in data centers. And a lot of that comes from the Gulf states. So if the Gulf states are not...
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code. This is Base 44. This is a first look at the current industry-leading AI app builder. And you wouldn't believe the kind of apps that people are creating.
No longer able to sell oil, and they're no longer able to finance AI, this AI bubble in the United States.
God damn it, I didn't even think about that shit.
Then AI will burst,
Fuck, bro.
And with it will
what is wrong with Trump, bro? Why did he do this shit?
Will burst as well as the entire American economy, which is really a financial Ponzi scheme. Right. So that's a dire situation that the Americans are facing right now.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, sir, an Amazon data center was literally hit in the UAE. And now, of course, big tech companies, which were looking at the UAE as a major potential data center investment hub with cheap and abundant energy, probably going to be rethinking that. We also want to talk to you about munitions. We can put this next one up here on the screen. The United States is racing to accomplish Iran mission before munitions run out. This is specifically around interceptor math. There's a famous video just from yesterday in Israel, which shows a single Iranian ballistic missile, which is being targeted by some 11 different interceptors, all of which miss. Most of those come from the United States, not to mention all of the different bases, the GCC countries that you just talked about, and the asymmetry of the cost. It's $1 million for a missile, tens of millions per interceptor in some of these cases. With these munitions running out, how does that change the global picture? So you're in China, obviously, much of the stocks in Asia of the United States are likely to have to be cannibalized if this were to go on. How's that going to affect the global picture here?
Right. So my first point is that the United States military is not designed to fight a 21st century war. Remember, the military-industrial complex came to being after World War II. It was designed to fight the Cold War. And the Cold War was really about muscle flexing, about who was able to send people up into space, who was the first at the person on the moon, who had the more complex missile systems. And so the entire American military strategy revolves around very sophisticated technology that costs a lot of money to build. And that's what the American air defense system is basically. And that's why we're seeing this asymmetry, as you point out, in this war, where you have these $1 million.
Bro, you know how embarrassing that's going to be if America loses this war with Iran, bro? You know how embarrassing that's going to be, right? I mean, ain't this the reason why we don't have better schools? Isn't this the reason why our public transportation sucks? Now, the real reason our public transportation sucks in America is because car companies lobby the politicians and basically make it so that politicians don't want to build out an actually like good quality, efficient public transportation system, because then less people will buy cars. And so that's really why we don't have a good transportation system in America. But what we get told is ain't enough money to go around for free university, for a more robust welfare system to help the people who are most in need, right? The reason the roads are falling apart, the reason why we don't have better infrastructure, the reason why we can't just, invest in clean energy is because we don't got the money, because we're putting all the money in the military. How embarrassing will it be if America then loses to a bunch of fucking like Iranians, bro? Right? Not that like there's anything inferior about Iranians, but the perception that Americans have of people over in the Middle East, that they're not as advanced, right? They're backwards, all their women, they're covered up. You know what I'm saying? They don't have the technology, right? And how the white supremacists talk about these people, bro. They call them towel heads and all of that shit. And so how fucking embarrassing is it going to be if a smaller nation, a poorer nation, a less equipped nation, just like Vietnam again,
them or anybody else except my kind. I know how they talk about my kind. I don't know how they talk about nobody else. I can imagine how they talk about other motherfuckers, but I only know how they talk about people like me. Now, if they talk about them the same way, then yeah, I know exactly how they talk about them motherfuckers. I know exactly. Anyways, fuck that shit. Moving right along. You think America gonna lose the war? I don't.
Defeats the American military, bro. Oh my God. And for Israel? Oh my God.
Missiles trying to take out these $50,000 drones, and it's not sustainable in the long term. And so what we're seeing is really the puncturing of the aura of invincibility and invisibility that sustained American hegemony for the past 20 years, especially after the collapse of the Soviet Union. And this is really a reordering of not just the global economy, because this signals the collapse of the petrodollar, and with it, the entire US dollar-based reserve currency system, but also the global hegemony of the United States. We're moving towards a multipolar world.
Professor, this morning, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth was asked a question about potential ground troops in Iran. He refused to rule out that possibility. And he said, oh, well, we're not going to project to you what we will or will not do, but we don't want to, rule anything out. We will do what it takes. Do you think that America will end up invading Iran from the ground?
I 100% believe that America is going to invade Iran. I 100% believe that. It's going to start with Lebanon. So currently, Israel is advancing into Lebanon. So here again is Israel, right? And Lebanon is right here. Currently, Israel occupies a portion of the southern region of Lebanon, and they have been doing that, I think, since the end of 2024. There was a skirmish between Iran and the militia group known as Hezbollah in Lebanon, right? And so since that point, Israel captured portions of Lebanon, or the southern portions of Lebanon, and have been holding that as military outposts. However, they recently put out a warning to the people of Lebanon with a list of many cities, I believe, saying, hey, if y'all are here, y'all need to like get the fuck out or like secure yourselves or some shit because we plan to take this. So essentially, Israel has given indication that they plan on further invading Lebanon. And that's where Hezbollah is, which is a militia group, a military group that is funded by Iran. And their whole thing is the destruction of Israel. That's like Hezbollah's, that's like their jam. That's like their whole thing. It's like, oh, fuck Israel. We want to destroy Israel. And so, yeah, they're, of course, retaliating for the murder of the supreme leader of Iran. They're retaliating on their behalf, attacking Israel. They've, sent over drones and shit like that. And so they're pushing more. Israel is pushing more into Lebanon. And so that in of itself, I believe that is going to be the gate that opens American ground troops. I don't think America's first like boots on the ground is going to be in Iran. I think it's going to be in Lebanon. And then once we got people in Lebanon, it's like so easy to just justify invading Iran. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think they're going to go to Lebanon first. Then this is going to be a long war, guys. I hope you understand this. This is going to be a long war. I think this is going to last at least 5 to 10 years. We're about to be at war with Iran, bro. This is going to be a slow burn.
It's already becoming relatively clear they won't be able to accomplish the goal of regime change or
definitely what they said 2037. It was the shit. I ain't gonna get into it.
regime collapse using just air power alone.
Fuck
right. So everyone says that the worst calamity that could happen in the United States is if it were to send ground troops into Iran. But at the same time, the United States are committed to regime change in Iran. We've never had a precedent in history where you were able to regime change from the air alone. Right. You need ground troops. And so unfortunately, what's going to happen over the next few months is that pressure will build on America to send ground troops, especially from the GCC countries and from Israel, which are being pouted right now by the Iranians. So remember that if the GCC countries, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, Bahrain, if they go, then the petrodollar goes with them. So the Americans need to protect these countries, and these countries are going to demand that either the Americans bribe the Iranians to seize, and this is like $5 trillion in indemnity, okay?
Wow.
Or send ground troops.
That would be embarrassing. We start a war with these dudes, and then we pay them money to stop. Oh, that would be so humiliating.
Wipe out the Iranian threat once and for all. And I know that there's no political will for ground troops to be used against Iran among the American people. But remember that 78% of American people was against initial strikes against Iran in the first place.
Right. And one of the things that really comes into question, I think, with all of this, sir, when we're looking at the geopolitical picture and the sacrificing in much of this from the United States on behalf of Israel, is kind of a question as to who and what wanted this. We were actually curious for your view on a disputed report here from the Washington Post. We can put it up here on the screen, F3. A push from the Saudis. Israel helped move Trump to attack Iran. Now, this has been internally disputed by Saudi Arabia, saying that they did not push the Trump administration to attack Iran. However, this is clearly an authorized leak from our own government trying to at least lay some of the blame on behalf of the GCC.
Saudis like, we ain't Saudi Arabia, they're looking to Iran like, they lying, bro. Gang, they lying to you, bro. We never wanted them to do that to y'all, bro. Because here's Saudi Arabia and here's Iran, right? Saudi Arabia, Iran. And so they're like, gang, we ain't never told them to do that, bro. They lying. We ain't never told them to do that. But yeah, we're going to see why they probably did want America to actually do this. Well, let's see.
Of this analysis and of this narrative that Saudi Arabia was also trying to be behind this push to bomb Iran.
So I've always argued that both Saudi Arabia and Israel are heavily invested in regime change in Iran. Yeah. In fact, Saudi Arabia sees Iran as much more of an existential crisis than Israel. Remember, Israel still has nuclear weapons, and Israel is a very diverse, very sophisticated economy, whereas Saudi Arabia is completely reliant on oil. And it's always had problems with Iran because Iran is a theocracy opposed to the Saudi monarchy. Iran funds and equips the Houthis, which have been antagonistic towards Saudi Arabia for the longest time. And right now, the Saudi economy is suffering. It's been trying to pivot towards more of a tourist economy. That's why they brought in Ronaldo. That's why they're switching to e-gaming. That's why they're building something called a line, NEOM. And all these things are not working out.
Right.
So they need to be able to control the oil resources of the entire Middle East if they are to survive and thrive as a nation. So I do believe that this reporting is credible, even though it does make Saudi Arabia look bad. But remember, Saudi Arabia says that they wanted peace, but they are helping the Israelis and Americans.
Fuck niggas. Fuck niggas, backdooring niggas and shit. Nah, gang, that we ain't, bro. We would never do that to y'all. Iran, we would never do that to y'all, gang. You know what I'm saying? I know we've had our problems, but bro, we would never ask America to bomb y'all, bro. Why would we ever do that? We would never do that.
Attack Iran right now because they're allowing the Israelis and Americans to use Saudi airspace.
So help us understand, because it still feels to me like there's some pieces that don't totally add up. You had
it's about to go down. It's about to go down.
to get out in front of this and, tried to persuade Netflix not to come forward with it. I think it's an interesting argument because what they're claiming is, Curtis Jackson, aka 50 Cent, has had a longstanding, animosity against Diddy and sort of vice versa. And because he's at the helm, they're arguing this can't be taken seriously. This should sort of be seen as propaganda. But one of the things that Netflix hit back with was, yes, he's the executive producer. He doesn't necessarily have creative control.
The situation becomes even more explosive when investigators and journalists discover that the prison call is now connected to a major streaming documentary project. Suddenly, the leaked audio isn't just gossip floating around the internet. It's part of
Yeah, man, it's 2 o'clock, dog. 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, man. I'm about to wrap it up in a minute, but being that it's a new day, it's Tuesday at 2 a.m. I'm going to drop the second word of the day for this week. And the word of today for Tuesday is going to be tremendous. You're going to make it a tremendous day, you feel me? Just remember to create a positive impact today or later. Do it capital and everything going to stay tremendous in your life. Straight like that. Hustle's on a mission every day. Keep it lit. We'll be back in the lit house tomorrow. You feel me? Hustle's on a mission every day. And never forget, real niggas do what they want to do. Bitch niggas do what they can. Whole ass niggas gonna talk about it and fuck niggas gonna hate. Regardless. I promise you that. So do your shit to the motherfucking fullest, nigga. I don't give a fuck what they think. And you shouldn't either.
I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot of brand.